Welcome to another Beer Scenes video. You might know the Sonoma Valley for the excellent wine being produced here, but there's also plenty of great breweries to explore too. In this video, I'll give you a quick tour of the breweries, beer bars, and bottle shops in Santa Rosa and the surrounding Sonoma Valley. Grab a beer, sit back, and enjoy. We're starting things off on the south side of Santa Rosa at HenHouse Brewing. HenHouse is known primarily for their IPAs like Big Chicken, but I was pleasantly surprised by the variety they had on tap when I visited. I tried the Precious Metals and Jewels Helles, the weekly beer name generator Bock, an Honest Day's Work Saison, the In Our Mildest Dreams English Mild, the Oatmeal Porter, and the Oyster Stout here. The bartenders were very friendly and made sure we had an enjoyable time. The decor was really entertaining too, if you're a sucker for goofy chicken themed stuff. They had a nice outdoor patio area if you want to enjoy the California sun. Good variety goes a long way in my book, so definitely check them out, especially if IPAs are your thing. Fogbelt came highly recommended by the locals, and I can see why. Their taproom had a nice outdoor seating area, and they had some pretty damn tasty food too. This is another brewery that seems to specialize in IPAs. However, they did have some barrel-aged stouts that caught my eye sitting up in the coolers. I tried the Tranquility Helles, the Atlas Blonde Ale, the Yellow Vine Belgian Golden Strong, the Hyperion Red Ale, the Sapling IPA, and the Javelin Berliner Weiss. My partner got the Stardust IPA and she was quite pleased with that one. I took home a bottle of their Big Tree Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout to drink later and it was pretty tasty. Check out Fogbelt if you need to grab a bite with some beers. Another local favorite that came highly recommended was Cooperage. Their taproom is huge with some really amazing murals and a full-on N64 setup with Mario Kart ready to rock. I'm probably starting to sound like a broken record here, but surprise, Cooperage also specializes in IPAs despite their name. Speaking of trends, they had a really nice outdoor area too with a food truck in case you're hungry. I tried the Walk This Way Japanese Rice Lager, the Helles, the Fruitception Sour, and the Shatter Shield Oatmeal Stout. My two favorites were the Rice Lager and the Oatmeal Stout here. It's worth a stop just for the really nice outdoor seating and some Mario Kart if you're in a blue shell kind of mood. While we were at Cooperage, the bartenders told us to check out Iron Ox, which was nearby. They were open a full hour later than most of the other breweries in the area, so we figured we would stop in. The first thing I noticed was their branding, continuing the Sonoma Valley awesome beer label trend. It was entertaining to see all the funny labels and references to heavy metal, some 80s movies, among other things. The bartender here was really friendly, one of the nicest we met along the whole trip. I tried the Plow German Pilsner, the Up and Sour, the Loki Winter Lager, and the Scythe Porter. The solid beers, fun taproom environment, and the cool bartender made this a worthy visit, especially since they're open later than a lot of breweries, including Cooperage. Check it out. Barrel Brothers is another warehouse-style brewery with a pretty good variety of options, including draft and canned cocktails. Also, guess what? They have some pretty awesome labels too. Maybe there's some kind of Sonoma thing where the breweries are trying to outdo each other, but whatever the case may be, I'm here for it. I tried the Dad Pants German Pilsner, the Porque No Mexican Lager, the Snozberries Taste Like Snozberries Sour, the Hazy IPA, the Trends Acid Berry Blast, and the Dark Sarcasm Porter, which was my favorite. There were some barrel-aged sours bottled up in the coolers too, so if variety is your thing, this is definitely worth a stop. Barley and Bine was a new discovery for us as we were looking for somewhere to find some food on the north end near Windsor. When we got into the place, it was totally packed, but the tap list was quite impressive. We got some garlic parmesan tater tots, which really hit the spot, and drank some really nice barrel-aged beers here from Side Project and Untitled Art. They also had tons of cans and bottles to go, and I even found a bottle from Hair of the Dog out of Portland, Oregon, which I hadn't seen before, so I snagged that. I asked a few locals why I hadn't heard of this place before. It's kind of a little honey hole that a lot of tourists don't know about. So if you end up going, you tell them that asshole Guzzle sent you. Now we're on to the downtown Santa Rosa spots. First up is Shady Oak, which had a huge tap room and there was a live comedy show going on when we stopped in. They make a pretty good variety of beers as well, and they're forging ahead with a barrel-aged sour program, which was really nice to see. I tried the Shady Stories to Tell in the Dark Lager, the Somnambulism Sour, and the Nectar Salamanca Sour. They also had an impressive row of pinball machines. If barrel-aged sours are what you're after, this is a place to definitely check out. Next up is 3rd Street Aleworks, not far from Shady Oak. They had some pretty delicious Cajun-style food and an impressive 2-story tap room with a pool table, ping pong, and some nice outdoor patio space. Unfortunately, after 27 years in business, they closed down the tap room you can see in the video here. I'm leaving the footage in for posterity, plus they're still brewing beer for distribution all over California. While it's a bummer that the tap room is gone, you can still give their beer a shot at many of the local bars and restaurants that have them on draft. We'll certainly miss the Cajun food though. We ventured out a bit from downtown to hit up Rincon Valley Taproom and Bottle Shop. They had a great tap list and some interesting bottles in the coolers to drink on site. The locals here were very friendly and we decided to pop open a side project saison and share some laughs. If we had more time, I could see us spending hours here just going through the tap list and drinking some outstanding beers. This was a nice stop and only about 10 minutes away from downtown, so if you're staying nearby, definitely check this place out. Be sure to check the hours though, as Santa Rosa spots tend to close on the early side. Speaking of spots in Santa Rosa closing pretty early in the night, Flagship Taproom was a beacon of light for us. They're open later than most spots downtown, and they have a really solid tap list with great variety. One night they even had some live music with no cover, so that was a really nice bonus. They do light food options as well, so it's pretty much the best spot to end your night and wind down if you're staying nearby. Also, if you're looking to try a lot of the local beers and you're short on time, Flagship is a great stop for that reason too, because a lot of their taps are dedicated to local breweries. I recommend you stop in here and check this place out. We had to take a major detour about an hour and a half north of Santa Rosa to Boonville, home to none other than Anderson Valley Brewing. They call it a beer park. It's huge with massive outdoor seating areas, goats running around the property, and an 18-hole disc golf course that you can play for free with a beer in hand. Early in my craft beer days, I came across Anderson Valley's Solstice series of beers, and I've been a fan ever since, so it was a real treat to get to visit this place and play the disc golf course with a cooler full of beers. The grounds are beautiful, and the disc golf course looked well maintained when we played. Anderson Valley is really big on sustainability. They produce a lot of the water they use right on site here. If you have the time and you don't mind the drive up, I'd say it's worth your while to come out here and visit. I'm grateful we got to come out and do some ball horning up in Boonville. Last but certainly not least, the legendary Russian River Taproom in downtown Santa Rosa is the original location and still bursting at the seams with character. Most of you watching this probably know all about the legendary IPA Pliny the Elder, but I tend to go hard on Russian River's Belgian-style sours instead. The downtown spot has some great pizza, but it isn't the biggest tap room, so plan ahead and expect a wait to get seated here. That said, Russian River is a mandatory stop, even if Pliny isn't the main draw for you. They're legends for good reason, and produce some really outstanding beers. It's also worth mentioning that their massive production facility in Windsor is also open to the public, with a much larger restaurant and a really nice outdoor compound. The weather didn't suit any outdoor day drinking for us while we were there, but in the summer, I can imagine this location will be incredible. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any footage inside while we were there. But check it out if the downtown spot's too packed, or if you're out and about doing wine tasting and you have a little bit of time to spare. The Sonoma Valley has amazing wine and some really awesome breweries, and unlike Napa, the area still seems to be on the rise. Wine tasting fees are somewhat reasonable, and accommodations are pretty easy to come by depending on the time of year. I covered as many breweries as I could while we were there, but a few breweries that we missed were Old Possum, Civilization, Three Disciples, and Coover. However, I did get to try Coover's Peppercorn Saison at the airport the day we flew out, so that was a fun random find there. We also got to go to Moonlight, but I wasn't able to get any footage there, unfortunately. That might be another brewery you've heard of, because they make a great dark lager called Death and Taxes. Their taproom is a no-frills warehouse, but they are absolutely worth a stop if you like lagers like I do. So that's it from me. If you found this video helpful, please let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this short tour of the breweries in the Sonoma Valley, and please subscribe for more Beer Scenes videos that are coming soon. Cheers, and thanks for watching.